My name is Ericka Osorio. I currently live in the Diamond Heights area.
And what do you do for work right now?
I am a part-time school bus driver. So I grew up in San Francisco. So my mom, where we lived at now, so since I lived with my mother, when they opened the wait list, I applied. So since I already lived in that housing area, basically I got first pick because I was already living in the housing.
And who lives with you now?
Just my daughter and then my grandmother, basically.
And why does your grandmother stay with you?
I do help take care of her, but she does have her own place. But just because she's elderly, I try to help her. I could say that it has affected my loved ones because there's not enough programs to help. And there's not enough wait lists, I would say, because I do have family members who do live with friends because there's not enough help.
Have you noticed people that had to either leave San Francisco or, like you said, live with one another?
Yes, because there's no help. Well, people leave San Francisco because of their choice. Well, it's expensive first, but live with other people because there's just not enough help or if it's too expensive. What do they have to do?
Yeah.
Basically get a roommate or just cut back on stuff or even share a studio.
And do you know, like, the people that had to leave the city, do you know their professions? Like, are there other school bus drivers that can't afford to live in San Francisco? And do you know where in the Bay Area did they have to move to?
A lot of them do live in, like, Fairfield, Antioch.
Bus drivers?
Mm-hmm. Well, I would say, like, before the pandemic, the pandemic did a lot because I don't know if you guys know, but Horseman, you guys remember Horseman? So, a lot of people in that area, that went to that school, they basically turned that gym into housing for people kids that attended that school. So, it impacted that community a lot too. Well, it impacts myself first because, I have to limit myself to what I can and cannot afford. But it also impacts, single families or people who have more than one child. My father, he's a single parent and he's a citizen now, but, he's not a full citizen. So he doesn't get the help that a lot of people can get. The people that, from before the pandemic, they still don't have houses. So they're still living out of the gym. So I think it impacts a lot of people. I personally think the housing crisis will probably get worse as the years go on. I'm not even sure if we'll even be here in San Francisco. It's just too expensive out here. I don't think we do have rent control out here. I know that for sure. But I feel like the landlords, the property managers just raised the what do you want to call it? The payment to whatever, the payment center, whatever they want to raise it to. We're able to walk up the street and go to the park. Another aspect is there's a few parks actually around in the neighborhood. There's a dog park as well. There's a grocery store, CVS. And then down the street, there's BART, and we have public transportation. So that's good for all of us. We do have good schools. We have... What was it, Claire and Lilienthal? No, it's not Claire. Oh, my God. Rooftop is up there, so it's K through 8th grade. The only thing is they don't have Spanish immersion, so I do want my daughter to learn how to speak Spanish. And there is Clarendon. Clarendon, I think, is only kindergarten through 5th grade, but they don't have Spanish immersion. But those are one of the top public schools that I would send my daughter to. I think more so for her. I think for now, I think she's scared to be alone. She doesn't know how to cook anymore, so I cook for her. Just to help her. I think, elderly people, when they get older, they need the companionship. So I think that's what Miley and I are there for. I mean, she has her own place. We go there every day to check her mail, to go inside. But I think it's just more so the companionship that she needs now that she's getting older. She would have to leave and go somewhere else. She actually did a few years ago. And then she came back.
And if your grandmother was to stay on her own and for you to feel comfortable for your elderly family member to stay on your own, what sort of amenities and resources would you need for you to feel comfortable for her to stay on her own?
For her to stay on her own, I would like for her to have like a community center for elderly people in her community that she lives in. I would love for her to have her own washer and dryer in her own unit, not in for her somewhere for her to walk, because I feel like her carrying all that back and forth she might fall. Even though she does have one at her house, she doesn't wash there. She washes at mine, even though I have stairs, but she's at my house. I'm okay. They have a gym there, but my grandma likes to walk, so she goes on walks with my daughter and the dog. So I think a community center for elderly people at her housing would be good. I would say the Mission, even though it's not the best, but they have most of the buses pass on Mission Street. There's a lot of resource centers over there. It might not be like right on Mission Street, but they have a lot of resources over there. There's a lot of schools off of Mission Street. Just by driving the school buses, I know where the schools are at. And being working with the housing industry before, I know what programs people were able to go get assistance with deposits and stuff like that. So a lot of it is in the Mission for resources. I think I would probably want to move to what would you call it? What's that neighborhood over there? By the ballpark.
Dog patch?
Yeah, the dog patch. I just think over there because, I don't know, it's hot over there. The sun's always out, and it's by the ballpark, and we could just walk. And it's by the pier, kind of. We don't have to walk too far. It's just attractions over there. By my house, it's just a park. Dog patch area, just any downtown they are building some, but I feel like when they build downtown, they're making it so expensive for people to not be able to afford, or they're aiming for the richer people, or they can build where there's any empty lots, somewhere where just make it affordable for people. Some of the kids, majority of the kids go further out from their neighborhood because I do pick up special needs kids, so they go wherever the school is that they have the needs that they need.
And which areas are you servicing?
I pick up everywhere.
And what areas of the city do you notice have better resource for special needs students?
I would say all of them, because I know a lot of so I do normally drop off more towards the avenues, the Sunset area. I would probably say more over there has more for special needs. Community for elderly people, or just like an after school program for kids. I don't know if the one up there is still open. I would like for there to be a bus to pick up from private schools, because I don't see that, and that would be helpful for me, because I have to pick her up, make time to pick her up in my route. That would help a lot, because my grandmother's getting old. She can't pick her up, and Miley doesn't like to walk up hills, so it's hard. I would like Miley to stay in San Francisco. I don't know if it will be possible, depending on how the payment standard will be when she gets older. When I get older, I don't know if it's going to be affordable. But I mean, we all grew up here. Her family's here. I would want her to be here. But we'll see. It's hard. They got to make it affordable. Carnival for sure. I would say 420, but I don't smoke personally. But I feel like, it brings out different vendors for people, even though it's not just marijuana. People come out there to sell their food, their clothing, whatever it is that they make. They do the food truck stuff. Those people, they sell food. Their food is probably better than the restaurant sometimes. What else? I mean, I'm pretty sure they have little events sometimes I don't know everything about, but those are fine. Probably just Mission Street and Golden Gate Park. I want to say elderly people. I think because they're elderly, they probably give them like a push to the side, like, oh, you can go stay with your family or whatever. But some of them may not have family here, or they're the last of their family, or anything could have happened, and they probably just tell them go live in an old folks home or whatever, because I'm my grandma. But I think they're the most vulnerable. A thriving community is everybody in your community working together, coming together, and keeping your community safe. My hopes for the future for housing is I hope that they can build enough housing for everybody. And my hopes for San Francisco as a whole is that they can get it together, even with the homeless people. I mean, I know it's hard. But everybody deserves a chance.
So why do you think there is a housing crisis right now?
I think that just from working in the inside, there was a shortfall.
What's the inside?
So working for the housing authority, there was a shortfall. So I feel like there was too many housing vouchers given out and not enough, it was too much money dished out.